Or what was your mentor like? Like, how did you find this mentor? And is it serendipitous, or how does she fit into that lens of mentor for you?
It was serendipitous. So I have a story here that I will tell. It's a very transparent story, kind of giving you insight into my personality. So I was a brand new hire at IBM. This is 1997. The dot-com bubble was growing and growing and growing, hadn't burst yet, right? So I was the first wave of a lot of new hires in IBM after the massive layoffs in the 90s. And so my perspective, IBM didn't really quite know what to do with us. And I was working at Poughkeepsie in New York, and it was far enough away from New York City that I felt like I wasn't in immediate contact with the ability to just expand as a young adult, right? I'm 21 years old at this time. So the dot-com bubble's growing. IBM is losing new hires to dot-coms. And so their attrition rates are just so high. People are coming and starting at Poughkeepsie and other places at IBM and then leaving, right, to the dot-coms. And I wanted to figure out a way to keep people because I wanted to stay at IBM. So then I started having parties on site because I'm like, come on, guys, this is like, we can be social. We can create our own fun here. And the head of HR at Poughkeepsie at the time, now in hindsight, she's my mentor. And now after the fact, she told me that this had happened. I didn't know it at the time. She said, Sarah, we could have done one or two things in this situation. We could have counseled you in a very negative way of, it's not appropriate to be having parties after hours on location. The liability factor alone is too high, right? Or she could coach me in a very positive way, bring me into the fold, help me understand how to do things in a way that would help both IBM, myself, and new hires. And that's exactly what she did. She brought me into the fold. She coached me. I actually did a 2-year stint in HR focused on program managing new hire generational. So I started the first new hire networks at IBM that still exist today, the first patent farms that still exist today at IBM, all in ways of how do you retain your new talent. And it was because of this incredible person that entered into my life who could have pushed me out of IBM completely, right? And she didn't. She coached me. She helped me understand the different options that I have to make this a win-win for everybody.
What a fascinating story. It's powerful that our mentors and how they enter into our lives at different points. And and so this was an HR mentor, and you came in on
Yes.
a tech on a tech avenue, and IBM was still probably the white collar kind of suit, standard issue organization. I don't think they probably shifted much in 1997.
Yeah, they were just in the starting stages of diversity at that point in time as well. So my role that I moved into in HR evolved. I became a diversity program manager. So it included new hire generational diversity, as well as we stood up IBM's first diversity councils, diversity network groups, which are now more commonly referred to as employee resource groups or business resource groups. We did this back in 1997 through 1999. At IBM. And so I feel very fortunate to have been a part of that movement for IBM and technology business in general. But then I moved out back into technical